right, everybody, it is time for another episode of A-Town Rundown. It's time to relax, unwind, talk about some Atlanta sports. I know a lot of times you hear the word relax and Atlanta sports in the same conversation and it sounds redundant, but the Hawks have given us a breath of fresh air. I know last night we're coming off of a heartbreaking loss to the Knicks where within a millisecond of tying the game, CJ McCollum just got the shot off literally a millisecond too late. But with everything going on, I couldn't be any happier about the Hawks. I think Jeremy and I were talking about this correctly before the podcast began. They're doing so well on this playoff tear right now that right now they have a super magic number in mind, and the magic number is 2. To explain what I mean by the magic number being 2, I'm going to let Jeremy explain that better than I can, but the playoffs are right around the corner, and I have a feeling we are going to get a top 6 position, and we are going to lock in. I don't want to be in the play-in, but if we have to, we have to, but this is where this magic number is coming in. And Jeremy, what exactly does this magic number mean, and what do we have to do to accomplish it?
Yeah, so basically to get into the play-in, we still have like a 90% chance. It went down after we lost to the Knicks yesterday, where I think before the Knicks game, we had like a 95% chance, somewhere close to that. Dropped down to like 90 or 89%.
Just due to that Knicks loss, right?
Yeah, because there's, at the time, 4 games left, and you have so many teams that are right behind you that are gunning for your spot, that, you know, it really is like the 5th seed to the 10th seed, like, is all interchangeable at this point. Like, so many things can still happen because it's such a tight race in the Eastern Conference. Basically, if the Hawks take care of business and they win 2 of these last 3, it's over. They're in.
No play in.
There's nothing to worry about. There's no play in. Other scenarios are, and this is where it kind of got confusing. We were talking before the podcast where it's like, if there was one team chasing us, it was like, okay, we would need a Philadelphia loss would eat into that magic number. But it's not just Philadelphia. It's Toronto, it's the Hornets, and it's the Heat. So that kind of murkies it up a little bit, but all the Hawks have to do is win 2 more games, and they're solid. I have a feeling they're going to get that number 5 spot because I think we're going to do well against Cleveland. Yeah, we did lose to the Knicks, but we went toe-to-toe all the way. We'll get into kind of we'll kind of diagnose what happened during the Knicks game here in a minute, which I feel like on a normal day we would have beat the Knicks. And so going into that series, if we draw them in the playoffs in the first round or the Cavs, I'm feeling good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we can go ahead and diagnose that right now because like it's very rare you see shots like that being made in general law, but it's even more rare when you see one that's just like, man,
had a heart attack.
It was literally like a fingernail. Like if it had gotten off his fingernail a millisecond quicker, we would have gone into overtime. And I think it was one of those situations where the aggressiveness and explosion just started coming left and right. And if we had taken them to overtime, I feel like that's a game that would have been in the bag. But unfortunately, we were in a situation where we would have had to go to overtime to win that. And you can tell me how we got there.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and address that something that I've seen all of the pundits like come off with today, and all the people that don't really pay attention to the Hawks. So like they see a game like this where they lose on the final possession, and they go, "Well, the Hawks really need a closer." Remember when they had Trae Young? He was their closer. It's like, yes, that's true. Well, that was true, and that's what he did against the Knicks in the playoffs. You know, the big shush moment and all of that, and taking a bow and all that stuff. Like, yeah, he shut it down. The Hawks do have that, and I don't want to hear national pundits that don't know anything about this team say things like that. Like, I think that's ridiculous. But throughout the whole game, the Hawks did not play good offense. They just didn't. If you look at percentages, I think that they hit like 40-something% on their 2-pointers. So inside the line, less than 50%. That's not NBA, that's good NBA.
You see often, especially this close to the playoffs when you're making this kind of push.
But this is also something that the Hawks don't do.
Yeah.
Like the shots weren't falling. Jalen was having some of his like kind of fall away threes, which every time I see him do it, it's one of those like, no, why are you shooting that? But like he makes them a lot. If he's within, 10 to 15 feet from the basket, it's like he normally has it. They weren't really going down last night. Some of Dyson stuff wasn't going down last night. Hawks were fine from 3. They were shooting a great 3-point percentage. And on this podcast, we don't just like pull up the stats and everything. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was above average and it was good. But the fact that you're doing 40% when you're inside the 3-point line, That's not good. And a big part of that was the Knicks having Mitchell Robinson.
Yep.
And us missing Jock Landale. So when Onyeka was on the court and we had his presence in the paint, Hawks were plus 11. When he was off the court, whether that was Tony Bradley or Mo Gay, it turns into like negative 13.
Yeah, and I was kind of
that's a big deal.
I was kind of thinking in a situation like that, like who exactly do you keep lined up with Mitchell Robinson if you don't have him out there? I mean, when it's got to rely on Bradley and it's got to rely on Mo Gay, like
Mo Gay's a little too skinny, man. Yeah, he's a little too skinny to deal with someone like Mitchell Robinson. Even though
this game was a couple of nights ago, the game against Brooklyn, which we won, you should have. I mean, everyone was talking smack about that, but like the Nets are an 18-win game. I mean, 18-win team. You better beat them,
right?
But the way Mo Gay was being feisty out there, feisty out there in the fourth, dude, I was so proud of him.
Mo Gay's got the attitude, man. He's a big dude, but he's not a thick dude.
But the attitude isn't going to get into Robinson's head the way you want, and I don't think you're going to pull that out of Mitchell Robinson. So you do need somebody like that. And the thing is, we talk about Tony Bradley right now, and it was kind of like, to your point that we were making before the podcast, like Tony Bradley got signed Monday and had to start Monday. He came in there, no practice.
Right.
No, nothing, and it was like, oh, hey, we just signed you.
He was the first. I want to say that he was the first call to the bench. Was bring him in, and it's like, okay, wow, this is the first quarter, and this dude hasn't even had practice with us.
It's like you just signed a contract like 4 hours ago. Hey, you got to go out and play like right now. Like go.
And this was a heavily playoff centered, like playoff atmosphere game.
Especially against the Knicks, it's a rivalry that we've produced ever since Trey. Like, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, like any game we play against the Knicks is going to be this caliber of a game from here on out because we have created something.
Oh yeah,
you know.
But dude, but also we were just so close to real playoff basketball, and this is a very realistic scenario that we're going to see. The Knicks in the playoffs and also, possibly in the first round.
Once again, whether you want to admit it or not, the Knicks aren't scrubs. Like they belong where they are.
No, they're not.
You know,
they're not. But I would say, had Jock Landale been available, we probably win that game. Especially like the way that it ended. Like it literally went down to the last possession, and you brought up the CJ McCollum, one more millisecond. The Hawks tie that up, and we go to overtime.
Well, speaking of Jock Landale, do you want to touch on why he's not available and why?
I do. Yeah, let's do a little recap of last week, because after last week's episode, we go and play the Magic, and all we had to do was take care of business in Orlando. Orlando fighting for their lives. They're trying to avoid the play-in. Probably not going to, but they're fighting for their playoff lives, and they're playing us. And we whooped them 3 times already this year. We ended up getting the sweep and winning the game, but. And the Hawks really brought it to them that game. Yeah. They brought it to them. Like, we were whooping them the entire game.
And
so we're up by 25 to 30.
What happened?
And this is what they do. If you guys remember last year, there was a game, and it happened like almost on like 2 concurring like possessions where they injured Larry Nance Jr., and he was out for a couple weeks. And then on the very next possession, they injured Vit Krejci on dirty plays. We played the Steve Holman voice of the Hawks on the radio, legendary broadcaster.
But that's
Love
just
Steve
between
Holman.
us.
That's between us. We're not gonna play it on the podcast now, just so we don't get pulled or whatever. But as he was saying,
going
he was
in,
like,
dude. I loved every minute of it.
Dirty, rotten play, and dirty, rotten players, because they did it again to the Hawks. And it's not just us they do it to, but there was a compilation that Kevin Chouinard put out this week where it was just like the last 4 times this has happened, and it's been within a calendar year, where they're losing, and they lost every single one of these games where they did this, where they're losing and someone goes up. And what happened with Jock Landale is he goes up for a putback, and Gogo Batazzi gets him on his collarbone right here and pulls him down. Well, he goes down, he hits hard, and now he's got a high ankle sprain, and he's going to be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that creates a problem for us, because a big problem with the Hawks this year, as a total, if you think back to having Kristaps Porzingis and how he was never available, our backup center minutes without Onyeka were just bad. And when you got Jock Landale, all of a sudden we start to go on this run.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, we're the hottest team in the East because we got to cover up that hole that we had. So losing Jock Landale is a big deal. But let's talk a little bit about. I want to read a little bit because I was really kind of proud of Quinn Snyder when he was on 92.9 The Game today, and he was talking about the Jock Landale thing. So I'm going to do the Jock Landale Gogo Batadze incident. So here's Hawks head coach. These are his words, quoted. When he was on 92.9 today, he says, "It was a dirty play. I wish it had been taken more seriously than it was. To get to a point where there's no penalty, there's no suspension, there's nothing. I've been very measured about what I've been saying about that, but it's wrong. We played Orlando last year. We were in a similar situation where we were playing really well, and 2 guys on our team were knocked out for the season, both on dirty plays." That was the Larry Nance Jr. and V. Krejci plays.
Yep.
Injuries. So here we are, a year removed, and we could see it coming. That's the game plan against the Hawks. But it didn't work because we were tough. And then it turned into that when the game was over. It makes me really, really angry. So the fact that like Quinn Snyder is going to go public and say those things, and he could, he's risking a big fine when he says things like that, especially when you – and now Gogo Batadze did get ejected from the game on a flagrant 2.
But he didn't get any
and it went to review and all that.
And like
no suspension.
It was a very malicious thing he did. Like very
exactly,
flagrant, very purposeful.
Like, bro, you're already losing the game. Yeah, you're already losing the game. You don't have to do that. And now that shows up, or at least the ramifications of that shows up when we're playing the Knicks, because we need Jock Landale.
Yep.
When Onyeka's on the bench, we need a big body like Jock Landale. That's why we got Tony Bradley. But again, he's not ready to do this.
Nope.
Tony Bradley didn't look great. I feel like on defense and rebounding and stuff like that, it's like he's where he's supposed to be. He's doing the right things, but he doesn't know this Hawks team right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard just coming in, especially this late. There's already chemistry. There's already ways you play. And, like, yeah, to your point, he can go out there and play his position that he knows how to play. But it's much different basketball playing your position and having the right chemistry with the right team, So it's going to take a little while. It's going to take him a couple of weeks to get into his groove. And I'm not saying he's not capable. And luckily, he's been in a Quinn Snyder system before. Like, he's familiar with him. He had time with him in Utah. And I don't know.
And his two-way stint here, yeah.
And his two-way stint here. I mean, we're going to see what happens. But, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm optimistic for it because I feel like you saw flashes that he's good enough to play his position properly. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Now he's just got to get the chemistry down with the rest of the team. And I think he'll at least be a good, bench player.
Yeah, and that's all we want him to do. All we want him to do is cover – all we need him to do is cover up those minutes when Onyeka can't be out there. And especially if you go into a series with the Knicks and you have Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, it's like someone has got to guard him.
You have
someone big and physical has to guard him. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest problem. If it's Karl Anthony Towns or whatever, it's like, okay, we can do that. We can deal with that. Mitchell Robinson is big and physical, and that's going to be an issue. And let's go ahead and talk about like what the playoff scenarios could be. It's the Knicks and the Cavs, and we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But as we get closer, let's talk about it. My personal opinion, I'd rather play the Cavs.
Okay.
Because they don't have Mitchell Robinson. They don't have a guy like that.
Right.
They have Evan Mobley, and they have Jared Allen. But I feel like we can handle that. I also feel like when they got rid of Darius Garland and replace him with James Harden, it's like James Harden's being James Harden and kind of like discombobulates their entire offensive scheme and dribbles too much and all of that. Yeah. Like you can kind of see, and I think the numbers show this too, like as far as like the plus minuses, when Donovan Mitchell's on the bench and James Harden's out there running the offense, it's not good.
Right.
I would much rather go against that.
And I think to your point, put like I was gonna say pretty much the same thing. Like I as a fan at this point right now, I would rather see the Cavs too, because not just James Harden is out for personal reasons. They've got other banged up guys. They've got guys who are questionable. One's for a foot, one's for a toe. Those are both things you don't want to see as a basketball player. So even if they are fully healthy going into the first week of the playoffs, they're still a team I would rather see than the Knicks, to be completely honest. To your point being, because they don't have Mitchell Robinson.
But I'm not scared of the Knicks.
I'm not scared of the Knicks. I'm just saying.
I'm not scared of the Knicks.
I feel like the Cavs would be a way easier opponent. And that's just as a fan. That as a fan speaking, like, what do I want to see? I want to see us go to go to the second round of the playoffs. Where do I think our easiest route to do that is? Against the Cavs. Do I think that we can't beat the Knicks? No, I think we can beat the Knicks. I just think it's going to be much easier to beat the Cavs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, man. And let's talk about these next two Cavs games because they're kind of locked into that number 4 spot. With the Knicks winning last night, and we're recording on this on Tuesday for anybody who's listening later. With the Knicks winning last night against the Hawks, they're kind of locked into the 3 seed. I'm not sure the Cavs can catch them at this point. I'm not sure the Cavs are interested in catching them at this point. So I've seen this pop up on Twitter a lot over the last couple days. Like, are they going to rest their players? Like, is it in their best interest to rest their players because they're not really going to improve their position? Now, obviously, if you're a Hawks fan, you're licking your chops. You're like, oh, I would love to play against, especially because we need 2 more wins to really lock this down. That you want to see them rest their players and we get to play against, their backups or whatever. There's another scenario in that too, which is like, do the Cavs even want to show us their game plan, considering they probably realize that we're probably going to see them in the playoffs?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think about all that?
But even with their best game plan, I still like as bad and
I already see where you're going, and I agree.
Yeah,
with you.
even with their best game plan, I still think they're an easier team to beat than the Knicks. Now, I'll also tell you this: the Atlanta in me, the real sports fan of me, not just Hawks fan, but sports fan, I do want to see the Knicks simply because I know it's going to be competitive. I know it's going to be a fight. I know that we've built a rivalry that I love seeing. I love the excitement of it. So it's one of those things like I don't mind playing the Knicks because I know there's going to be so much fanfare about it. Like it's going to be an exciting series to have. But if I just want to get to the second round of the playoffs, I would rather see the Cavaliers. And that's the hill I'm standing on with this. Like, I don't care.
I'm with you.
I don't care either way, but preferably it would be the Cavs just as an easy second round. Now, if we have to play the Knicks, man, I'll tell you, I'm going to be excited as hell because I get to see that fight. I get to see that feud. I get to see it go down. And I also get to see what we truly need to work on next year, what we need to target in the draft. Like, is Mitchell Robinson really this guy that we got to build the entire defense around, like who we really have to, or can we find ways to expose them? Can Tony Bradley show up and be like, all right, I got this, is that chemistry going to click? And I'll tell you, man, the Hawks are somewhere that I personally feel like they're kind of not even supposed to, because Trae Young got injured.
Playing with house money.
Yeah. Trae Young got injured, traded him. He was the franchise player at the moment. The whole Porzingis thing didn't work out. And then you look at the Hawks, and from the outside looking in, you're looking at them as a team that, like, okay, they can kind of like tank if they want to. They got this draft thing going on. They don't have to. But then they came out and they're like, no, we're playing to win. Like, we still want to win. They were in a weird situation where they did not have to win out the season. They could have just bowed out and be like, all right, we'll get them next year. And these players showed up and they're like, nah, we want this. And they started making moves with Kuminga. Then McCollum comes in, he starts firing off. Corey Kispert starts playing well. Like, all of a sudden they're a team.
Jock
Landale, who's amazing, who I hate is not going to be there, but he could get healthy by the time we need him. It's just like they are a team that by all means is not supposed to be where they are right now. Nobody saw them getting here, and nobody would have been upset or surprised if they didn't get here. And the simple fact that they had that fight in them, where it's like, nah, we're not going to just tank. We're not going to just go out. Like, we're playing to win this season, even in a season where they don't have to. They didn't need to. They're like, no, we're showing up. So that should do nothing more for you as a fan than excite you for what happens next season, when by all accounts they're going to be a better team.
Without a doubt, man. And also, like, all things that you just said about how they could have tanked and they decide, like, nope, we're going for it and we're going to make these moves. And I think initially you go like, hey, it's not about this year, so like we can make these moves and it's all about the future and all that. But they didn't go with the tanking attitude. I feel like the basketball gods reward teams like this, especially when it comes to the draft lottery. And when I'm talking about basketball gods, I'm talking about one guy, Adam Silver.
That guy?
So like, if we end up with a great pick, it's going to feel right. Yeah. God is just an old, bald white guy.
Yeah.
Who doesn't seem to watch the games ever
at all. He doesn't even like basketball.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but no, I think in the end, and I've said this a lot on this show, and I say this to every sports fan that I come across in my life, is like the best parts of being a sports fan let me flip that. The worst parts of being a sports fan is when your team on paper is supposed to be really good and it turns out they're bad.
How many times has that happened as a Falcons fan?
Exactly.
How many?
And then the best time of being a sports fan was like nobody thought we could do anything, and they're good.
Yeah.
So right now, Hawks fans, let's relish in this moment. These are the most fun moments.
Well, honestly, I'll tell you, like, I'm not a West Coast or Midwest, whatever you want to call it, guy. But like, ever since the whole fallout with Westbrook, Harden, and Durant, I never thought I would see OKC in a final, let alone winning, and let alone being the favorites to have a two-peat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and look, whoever comes out of the East, good luck.
Yeah. No, for real.
Whether that's the Hawks or the Celtics or the Knicks or whoever.
To be honest, it's getting to the point where like I just
or Detroit, and not to Detroit.
To kind of shout back at what I said at the beginning of this episode, like I just kind of want to sit back and relax and see what the Hawks can do, because you're in a moment like we've just been saying, like we aren't supposed to be here. The Hawks and the Hawks fans are not supposed to be here at this moment right now. We're supposed to be in rebuild mode, like, woe is me, what are we doing? But now we're in a situation where we didn't go down without a fight. And truth be told, we still kind of are rebuilding next year. And that just means that our rebuild next year is going to put us in a different stratosphere if everything is done correctly. Like it's amazing.
You got to retain Quinn Snyder, which I think he earned another couple years of his job.
Absolutely.
Like,
would you say that this puts him at Coach of the Year status with how he turned this around, or at least in the conversation of it?
Man, it depends. If we're just talking regular season, it really depends on these last couple games. Like if they win out the last three and we're solidly in the 5th seed, then yeah, I mean, put him in the conversation for sure. I don't think he's a big favorite of it. And they won't vote on these things until like the playoffs are like really heating up, or like we're deep into the playoffs. So let's say the Hawks make it to the finals. Yeah, I bet he gets a lot of votes. I bet he gets a lot of votes. What I meant when I said like you have to retain him and that he's earned like retaining him, and I think they almost certainly they will, is if you remember, like when the Hawks did their last big playoff run in 2021, they had fired Lloyd Pierce and they brought in Nate McMillan took over,
right?
As you know, he was like our bench coach, and then he brought in all his own guys, and all of a sudden it was a completely different system. It's like this is a little bit of a different scenario where now we're getting success. Now we're seeing a team that plays better in Quinn's system. We can build continuity with that versus like Nate McMillan's was kind of like starting over, even though we just had success.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a big deal. As far as Coach of the Year, like I think he's getting votes. I think he's getting some votes.
Absolutely.
He has to.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a couple other guys on the team lately. And even in that Knicks game, like I was going to bring up some of the foul calls that happened last night. Like there was one where Dyson got into foul trouble in the 4th quarter. And so now all of a sudden he can't play the defense that he likes to play because he's in danger of getting fouled out. There was one where, dude, he stepped on or Brunson stepped on Dyson's foot and trips a little bit, and they call a foul on Dyson.
Yeah.
That's wow. Like, I don't know, things like that. And when we're talking about 1 millisecond that could have changed the game,
that's another one.
These things come to mind.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, speaking of which, to do a little callback as to what you said earlier about how people are saying the Hawks don't have a closer and all this, like, I kind of
feel like we have multiple closers.
I was about to say, I kind of think we have multiple. You got Jalen and you got Dyson, and like,
and you got Nikhil,
and
you got CJ.
Like, all of a sudden, do you need just one of them to stand out? Like, I would rather have.
I didn't understand that. That's old school.
I would rather have a team
Kobe
full
Bryant
of closers.
talk. Like, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry we don't have Michael Jordan, but we also don't need him. You know,
you don't have MJ. You don't have Kobe.
I would rather have a squad of 4 closers on the court at the same time than just one guy that I have to get the ball to.
Yep, like they go, Nikhil's hot. We gotta trap him. We gotta double team him. And he gets it off to CJ, and it's like, all right, yeah, and like CJ opened for a 3. Like,
yeah,
I'm totally cool with
pass
it.
the ball.
Or Jalen open or whoever.
So if I have one closer, if every time I end a game and it's in Jalen Johnson's hand, who the fuck do you think they're going to go after? Sorry, excuse my language, but who do you think they're going to go after?
All good. We're deep into the episode. We can.
Who do you think they're going to go after? They're going to go after Jalen every time. So what do you think if all of my guys can close and Jalen gets doubled up and Jalen passes the ball to CJ, who you didn't
Nikhil,
expect as a
and
closer,
you got CJ,
and there you go. Like, why do I need one closer when I have 4?
Exactly. I look at that as like, that's just national pundits thinking old school, and they're thinking about what the headlines on First Take and stuff like that on ESPN. What would Skip Bayless say? It's like, well, nobody likes listening to him. A lot of times, stop trying to do that.
A lot of times, those teams that go after that one closer, you've seen it. This generation of basketball, it's like you're saying, it's not the Kobe, it's not the Jordan era. It's you see those guys come to the teams like, I don't know, the Pelicans or something like that, where all the pressure's put on them, where they're all of a sudden thrown into the spotlight and they're expected to be the closer. And then what happens? They get injured left and right. They all of a sudden start declining. All of a sudden they're missing games. They have personal issues. They can't deal with the weight on their shoulders anymore because you drafted them to a team of scrubs and you didn't build up the scrubs around them, and you expect that one guy to be your savior. It doesn't work like that anymore.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, and I think a lot of that conversation came up yesterday or last night right after the game ended is because the Knicks had Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson looked like their closer, and he was on the road, and I'll give him all the credit.
I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Brunson.
I'm not either. I'm not either.
Never will.
But at the same time, it's like
it doesn't work in every system.
The situation was, Dyson had gotten into foul trouble, so he can't be face to face guarding Brunson. And so what happened is that CJ McCollum's guarding him. So it's like Quinn Snyder did a great job last night of like making it a playoff atmosphere where like our starters played 85% of the game. But out of our starters, CJ is the worst one-on-one defender. Like he just is. And that's who ended up on Brunson for like 3 straight possessions.
Yeah.
It wasn't Nikhil. It wasn't Dyson. Dyson's your best perimeter defender. Next one up would be Nikhil, but they got CJ. So there's a lot of things that happen with that I feel like in a playoff series wouldn't end up that way. He would have Dyson in his face.
Yep.
And which I think would makes it a lot harder.
And that's something.
So he makes 3 shots there at the end of the game. Maybe he makes 2. Maybe he makes 1.
You hit the nail on the head.
Maybe he makes none.
Because when it comes to the playoffs, it's not going to be like that. Like when it comes to the playoffs, it's going to be where if last night was a playoff game, the Knicks wouldn't have won. I'm sorry, they wouldn't have.
No, I agree. But also like we played it like a playoff game, but also take it as a sign of respect that the Knicks played it like a playoff game. Like I saw Karl Anthony Towns just like being like
sweating.
Oh my God. Like we actually won that. And the Hawks were leading this game in the third quarter. We were up by 10 in the third quarter, and things just kind of, started to find their way back in. Again, I'm not going to sit here and blame this on questionable calls from the refs, but I do feel like they got some favorable stuff.
I will. I always will. I don't.
I know you.
Absolutely, I will.
And I will too, if we're not on camera, but like I'm try and be professional and really tell you guys like what happened in the game without making excuses. Like obviously Atlanta's my favorite team. Like
sometimes
I can always do
just
that.
Stand too close to the players and the players trip over them and ruin your shot at the finals.
I feel like I've seen that before. Shout out to Hawks fans who remember all that. I did want to say one last thing, I guess probably about the Hawks, about Dyson Daniels. And I wrote all this down, his 3-point percentage. And I got this from Kevin Chouinard earlier.
This is Jeremy's love letter to Dyson Daniels.
Well, he was the worst. He was on pace to be the worst 3-point shooter under we're talking like 160 like shot attempts or something like that in history. Okay. So over the last 2.5 weeks, he's shooting 45% from 3. That's good. That's
good.
Nice.
That's good.
Okay. If he can do that, and now he's still not taking a whole lot of attempts because I feel like he's gotten a little skittish. He's got the yips with his 3-point shot.
Well,
under the basket, like dude's
he's
killer.
Just finally taking shots that he knows he can probably make, and if you take
well,
the
my
shots
thing
you know
is
you can make, you're not going to be the worst 3-point shooter.
You gotta believe Coach Snyder is saying like, hey man, if you're open like that, you got to shoot it.
Yeah, if you're
I don't
open,
care
you
how
gotta
you
take
feel.
it. Yeah,
You got to take it. You know, if they're leaving you open, take it.
a lot of
And I
times
think
a bad
that started
shot
to
can
happen.
lead to a good rebound too. So you got to take the shot.
Sure. So right now he's at 45%. He before this hot stretch, bro, he was at 12.9%.
Oh, so he
That's
was on
really
that pace.
bad.
So he was.
Oh,
on
he
that
was.
pace.
He was on that pace. He was on that pace. He was very bad. So since the last 2.5 weeks where he's shooting 45%, he's up to 18% now. It's like,
okay,
all right, bro, can you get to 20? Can you get to 20 in these last 3 games? But I've been saying for the last 3 months, like if Dyson can get this 3-point shot, and last year he had a 3-point shot. This year it's just I don't know what happened. He had like a finger injury early on in the season that I think has something to do with it. And then all of a sudden I honestly think, and this is not like expert sports analysis, it's just my opinion. I think he got in his own head about it.
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
If he can get over that, we're going to be good. We're going to be, and he's going to be an all-star next year if he can get that together. You don't have to shoot 45%. Shoot 38%. Shoot 39%. All of a sudden, he is extra dangerous. But I will say, out of the Knicks and the Cavs, they don't have a Dyson.
No.
They don't have somebody who's going to put you in jail.
They don't have a Dyson. We don't have a Mitchell Robinson, but
we don't. Tony Bradley, I feel like he can. And, let's give Tony Bradley a little bit of credit because of the run that he had with Indiana last year. It's like, he's done this before. I think that was a good choice. I heard a lot of people saying, like, hey, bring back Bruno Fernando or go get Bol or somebody like that. It's like, Bol is like, yes, he's huge, but he's skinny.
But he's only
which is kind of like Mo Gay. Right. And then Bruno Fernando, he's big and he's stout. But I don't trust him. I've seen him play too much.
At the same time, when you put it in the perspective,
give me Tony Bradley.
You're talking about somebody who's been there, who knows what to do, who knows how to get in. And like I said, I think it's just a systematic thing. I think it's literally like he signed a contract and had to start that night, no practice, no nothing. Give him a couple games, let him warm up.
I agree.
And I mean, between him and Mogay, if everything starts firing on all cylinders, I think you're going to be okay. I think if Bradley just focuses more on locking down the defense, it's going to be okay. It's going to be.
That's what we want. We want rebounding out of him, and we want him to box out under the basket.
Although, Robinson's hard to box out, dude. He's a big.
He is.
He's a big guy.
But that's why you need Tony Bradley.
I don't mean
feel
big,
like
but he's
Landale
long.
can do that.
Like he is so long, dude. What is Robinson's like 7'1", right? Like he's a big guy.
He's like a 7-footer. Yeah. He's a big boy.
But he's 7 foot. He's not like Shaq 7 foot. He's like 7 foot, like Slender Man. Like he's just long and
Yeah. He is, but he's also thick in the chest. Like he's going to when he bumps you get moved.
Yeah,
But also Jock Landale. So they said he was going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and we always say on this episode or on this podcast, reevaluated does not mean he's coming back.
Exactly.
It's going to be 2 weeks from that, and that would put him at the reevaluation mark, probably right before the playoffs start, if we avoid the play-in. Because you'll have that break while the other teams play in the play-in.
Right.
So it's very important that the Hawks avoid the play-in.
Could be very detrimental
for that reason as well.
And not necessarily detrimental. It's just like if we get into the play-in, you're just playing on borrowed time at that point. Like every move you make counts. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So Hawks still got to do that. Magic number 2. I think we're going to be okay. I think we got this.
Speaking of Magic number 2, what do you think is going to happen next year when the Hawks try to do Magic City number 2? You think we'll be able to pull it off next season?
I hope so, man.
With all the pushback that happened this year, just let Atlanta be Atlanta, man.
I know. I would love to see them do like some kind of like smart-assy thing where it's like it's not Magic City, but it's like Mystical City Night, or you know what I mean? Like they just do something to like everyone knows it's Magic City.
What if they did Ladies Night? And I know we do Ladies Night, but what if they did Ladies Night and they made merch with the Magic City logo on it and just like a subtle. We
do Magic Ladies Night.
Yeah, Magic Ladies Night. There you go, dude.
Why not? Against the Magic.
There you go.
Like it was supposed to be. Like God intended it.
And dude, I get so envious when I keep seeing people in the crowd who were able to get those hoodies. I'm so mad.
I know. I'm seeing the hoodies all the time. Like,
so
and
mad.
I know people like it took them longer to get them to you, but
who cares?
obviously, if
you
know,
still got it.
they're like, I can't believe it took me 4 weeks to get this. It's like, well, you follow what's going on, man. Like,
dude,
obviously,
I still haven't got my Sunmancer pre-order that I ordered 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah, well, we were in a band 4 years ago. So if you said 3 years ago, I'd be like, really? Did I miss one?
Never got it, dude. Never got it.
I got one for you. Next time I see you in person, I got some merch for you. I got a merch haul for you.
There we go. I love hauls. So let's move on. Let's
wait. One more basketball thing.
Okay. You got very excited there.
The Atlanta Dream.
Oh God, yeah! I can't believe
2 first-round picks.
I can't believe we forgot to talk
for Angel Reese.
Dude. Yes,
for Angel Reese. Let's talk about it.
Yes,
and you and I have talked about it off the show.
Okay,
I've made fun of her on this podcast, and I'm going to go ahead and say right now, she's my girl now.
Okay,
you play for Atlanta. Now I'm all in.
There is something I wanted to bring up about Angel Reese because I know that she has a lot of controversy around her, and I know that when people don't like somebody, they love to bring up their worst moments and the worst things they've said in interviews and their worst clips. Like you can take any player in the NBA, MLB, NFL, and if you just seek out their worst plays and their worst moments, you can compile that and you can make them look like trash. So
absolutely,
what I did was I went out and I actually did my research. So in the 2025 WNBA regular season, Angel Reese averaged a double-double of 14.7 points and 12.6 rebounds over 30 games for the Chicago Sky. Listen, those are not scrub numbers. She's not.
Absolutely not.
She's a good player.
And she was a rookie.
And she was a rookie. She was shooting 45.8 from the field, and she added three assists and 1.5 steals per game. Listen, these are not scrub numbers. And like I said, people can construe anything and defamate anybody any way they want to. And if you compile anything about any athlete, you can make them look like a trash athlete if you want. And I think too many people have seen that. Too many people have wanted to hate her because of the things she says and the way she's
and the Caitlin Clark rivalry and she said some dumb things that I gave her a lot of hell for, but
the Angel Reese is very sure of herself and she's very adamant about who she knows she is as an athlete. And maybe she doesn't voice it in the proper way. Maybe she lets her emotions get the best of her. But if you look at her numbers,
look at the numbers.
Rightfully so, she can back it up. So I think people need to give Angel Reese a break. They need to cut it out. She's young. She's still proving herself in the league. She's still got a lot of maturing, a lot of growing to do. And you know what? I'm glad she's here in Atlanta. So
and bro, like I know that like you and I have had this conversation about like I saw a lot of people like this is a great culture hire, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And we've talked about like what we think that means or whatever, like on or off the podcast or whatever. But she does fit
Atlanta.
The Atlanta attitude.
She's Atlanta. The first Instagram post. Now she's the ATL Barbie, dude. You know,
she's the ATL Barbie, and like
she was the Bayou Barbie in Louisiana. Now she's the Atlanta Barbie,
right? When she was at LSU. But and look, the Dream, like making that move, I think they're trying to pop up as one of these teams that you talk about in the WNBA. Like the amount of new viewership they got, like when, and I'm not going to attribute it all to Caitlin Clark, but like when she came in and Angel Reese as well. And Angel Reese did a good job of like making sure her name keeps popping up. And I think that's part of some of the shit talking that she was doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like making sure that she stays in that conversation. Yes. And she's doing it on the court too. You know, like she's playing.
And to your point, like historically, look at rivalries in the NFL, look at rivalries in the NBA, look at Jordan and Bird, look at Magic and Bird, look at all those. You have two competitors that play at the highest level, going at each other off the court, on the court. It makes for good TV. It brings in viewership. And I mean, dude, when the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream play each other in Atlanta, this place is going to be bumping. It's going to be, I was
about to say, like, if they're going to do that at, because they play at the College Park Skyhawks, they might move that to State Farm.
No, I think they actually have.
They might move that to State
Farm games this season, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be,
and Angel's going to have a lot of fans there because, that's how we are with our players. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
We ain't showing up for Caitlin Clark. Like, we'll go to see Caitlin Clark versus our girl.
So there's several times as an Atlanta fan, like I have gone to games where we're playing teams I don't like, but it was specifically to see players that I knew were once in generational. I went to a Yankees Braves game because I wanted to see A-Rod and Jeter play. I went to a Dodgers game because Albert Pujols was on the team. Clayton Kershaw was pitching. Like, I wanted to see that happen in real life. When I was a kid, I went to a game against the Cardinals that Mark McGwire played. You know, like, I went to a Hawks game where Kobe played. Like, these are things you want to say. And like, does Caitlin Clark play for us? No. Do I want to see her play in real time? Absolutely. But now also I get to do that with Angel Reese on our team. And if you see me wearing an Angel Reese jersey, don't hate, go buy one too. You know,
I was about to say, dude,
I'm thinking about getting now, dude.
And I did think that she was like one of the most annoying people like in women's sports. Not to sound like sexist or anything like that, but like,
she's the Baker.
But I think that's part of her. But I think that's part of like her shtick is like, she's going to talk trash so that she keeps popping up. And dude, her and Caitlin Clark have been tied at the hip.
Well,
like out of all the NBA player or the WNBA players that are amazing, I hear about Angel Reese more than most of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so
to the point I was making,
and she's a dog. Like she gets out there and she plays,
and
man.
To the point I was making, she gets under people's skin and people want to go out and bash her and talk all this stuff. But if you actually look at the stats, she's not a scrub. She can back it up. She was a champion in college. She's on her way to be a good.
She beat Caitlin Clark in the championship.
What's going to happen if she brings a championship home to Atlanta? Are you guys still going to talk trash about her because you don't like her attitude? Oh, you didn't like her attitude until she played for your team and brought you a championship. That's how it goes. That's how it always goes. Stop being a fucking.
And bitch. I saw her Victoria's Secret shoot, and I was like,
of course.
Okay, Angel, I see you.
Yeah, who didn't?
I see you.
You know, I ain't mad at it. Do your thing.
Good for her, man. But I think the Dream are trying to like. Okay, everyone's talking about the, the Indiana Fever. It's like, well, why can't we be one of the teams that they talk about?
Right.
We also have Ryan Howard, who we got her. I want to say she was a first overall pick, but she was a high draft pick, and she's a great player. Her playing with Angel Reese, like the Dream, they might be contending for a championship this year.
If I'm not mistaken, the Dream have a championship, right? Didn't they win a championship in the early?
No, I think we went to one.
We
went to one. Yeah. And that was in the last 10 years, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, shit, dude. They've gone to the dance, and the Hawks haven't. So
I will say, like Angel Reese, like popping up here, like makes me go, maybe I'm gonna start paying attention to the Dream, and I'm not the only one.
Now,
there's a lot of basketball fans that are going to start looking at that.
Now, listen, I'm not going to lie to you.
And the WNBA is getting stars now, and she's one of them.
I've watched about as many WNBA games as I can count on both hands, and I've gone to 2 of them in person. It's not that I don't like it. It's just it's always been hard to watch. It's always been hard to find.
Yeah,
like it's not been very
right. They make it. Yeah, it's not hard to watch. Like you don't want to watch.
No, I love to watch.
It's hard to find.
I love women's college basketball. Love it, dude. The Lady Jackets. Watch them every chance I get.
Oh yeah.
But the WNBA has not.
Yeah, I just watched the UCLA and South Carolina on Sunday,
dude.
So,
Coach Dawn, dude.
I know. Yeah,
love her.
Yep.
Love her. Love every bit of her.
She's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. And also that girl from Texas who got snubbed from the All-American, Rory. I can't remember her last name, but the coach going out there and advocating for her like that, it was amazing. The girl from Texas, Rory. I can't remember her last name, but she was a 5-year senior. And he was giving up the argument that she's arguably been the best player in Texas history, and she keeps continually getting snubbed to be an All-American. So my heart went out to her. Yeah. But no, dude, like dude, I'm a proud girl dad. I'm actually signing my girls up for sports as we speak. We just talked about the registration fee and everything. Like I love women's sports. I love women's college basketball. I love softball. I love all that stuff. But the thing is, when it comes to the WNBA, it hasn't been accessible. Like you can't. It's not like back in the day we could just sit down and turn it on. It wasn't on TV. Like, and if it was, you'd have to buy this package. And 9 times out of 10, it came on at the same time as you were watching some other premier sport or something like that. Like, it has not always been readily accessible. But it's like. Bringing this excitement to the city of Atlanta with the Dream, like that's awesome. It's everything you could ask for. Especially,
I'll tell you this: that I'm going to pay attention to the Dream a lot more than I ever have.
Yeah.
Now that they have Angel Reese, I mean, because I think it's going to be in your face. Like Angel Reese is going to continue to be in the headlines. That's who she is. That's what she does.
She absolutely will.
You know. So like whether you like it or not, you're going to see Atlanta Dream,
whether it's positively or negatively. She's going to be in them. You're going to hear about Angel Reese. You know,
But I might have to go get me a jersey, man.
I will, dude.
Like you were saying.
Actually, her mom posted something on Twitter. Her jerseys have already sold out.
I saw that too, which made me think, I was like, well, how many did they have?
They had 5.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Like they're not going to go they're not going to go overboard with their inventory, but they might.
No, dude.
But that's a good
Print
thing.
Them to order. Print them to order, dude. Print them to order.
Yeah.
Just grab a blank.
But that's a good thing. It's like, showing the Atlanta Dream, like, oh wow, okay, yeah, we did just go out and get a star, and like we did.
Let me see how much an Angel Reese jersey is going for right now. Angel Reese, Atlanta Dream jersey. All right, let's see.
Let's get her on the podcast.
Shopping. Let's get her on the podcast. It's only $105.
Okay, but that's the price of like an NBA jersey, like relatively.
Oh wait. No. That is not her. That's not hers. If I Google it and I go to shopping, you can't find them anywhere. You can make a custom jersey, but you can't just.
Well, dude,
buy
she just got here
Angel
yesterday.
Reese. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever they have sold out of the inventory. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
That's awesome.
So
hey guys, welcome to A-Town Rundown. We talk about women's sports too.
Yeah. I'm on the Dreams. I'm on the Dreams shop right now. They are sold out in every size.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, star power, man.
Yep.
She's bringing that.
Now we got it. And speaking of star power, we are going to use this to transition into our boys, the Atlanta Braves. So I've been singing the Atlanta Braves praises. They've been doing well, all things considering. However, our boy Chris Sale, he hit a big old speed bump yesterday against the Angels.
Yeah.
He was sitting pretty. He was 2-0. He even had a shutout on opening game. It was looking like he hasn't aged at all. And then the Angels just cracked him wide open. He had a start that really rattled him. So first pitch of the game, Zach Neto took it for a home run. And it was something that you could tell kind of rattled Chris Sale. Later on, he had frustrations, throwing a rosin bag. But then I learned Chris Sale was sick a couple of days ago. So you got to put yourself in his head. Like, you're just coming back from being sick. You already don't feel well. The first pitch is a home run against you. Now you're frustrated. Now you're sick. You might still feel a little feverish and everything. So the wheels just started coming off, but he did settle down. After the home run. He retired 9 straight after the homer, but the 4th and 5th inning were just a disaster. Between hitting, he had some walks. He ended up with 6 earned runs, and that's his most in nearly 2 years, dude. So,
yeah,
but he did.
And remember the run that they're on right now.
Yeah, I know.
The team has not had a day off.
They don't have a day. They still don't have a day off.
And they're on the West Coast.
They still don't have a day off for, I think, like 4 or 5 more days, and then it's literally 1 day off, and then they come home and play the Phillies. So it's like,
then you go to divisional games.
Not only that, it's like they had all these teams, and then they fly to Arizona. They don't have a day off. Like, they fly to Arizona and play that day, and then from Arizona they go to Anaheim, and they haven't had a break yet. And then when they get a break, they get
another flight break. By the way. Yeah,
they get a 1-day break, and then they have to play the Phillies. You know what I mean? But Chris Sale, he didn't make any excuses. I love it when players own up to their things. Like, in all honesty, knowing me as a person, I'd be like, man, guys, I'm just feeling sick. I got frustrated, blah, blah, blah. But he was just like, he said his quote was, I expect to do well every time, but I got to be better than that. So now he's 2-1, and it was a 6-2 loss, and he is still the heartbeat of this rotation, I will say.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to pitching, man, you got to give everybody grace sometimes. I mean, how many times have we seen the greatest of all time just have a bad day? He just had a bad day out there. And
and he's got like 17 more starts ahead of him.
I know. And even with all things considering, the Braves are 6-5. That's what I'm saying. They're 6-5. They've already played 11 games.
And they're winning right now. It's the 4th inning. Mm-hmm. Braves are up by a run.
Yep.
So,
and they also
we'll see how that
they play in a very crowded National League East, which I will say, even though I may sound biased, the National League East, might be the most competitive league in baseball. It truly is.
Yeah. Dude, you've got the Mets who spend money every off season. Mm-hmm. You've got the Braves who, have the biggest heart out of all of them, and I'm being biased.
No, but you're
then you got the Phillies who have spent money and built a, all-star core.
Yeah.
And then you have the Marlins who can pop up and beat anybody out of nowhere. Like
at any time.
You never know like what kind of Marlins team is going to happen this year.
What was it last year or the year before where the Marlins were absolutely the worst team in baseball, and then the second half of the season they just dominated.
Right. So it's like, no, our division is probably the toughest.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as far as Atlanta sports go, I would say the Braves play in the toughest division of Atlanta sports.
Totally agree.
I can't speak for United. I'm sorry that I'm not a soccer guy, so I might have soccer fans out there being like, "No, United." I don't know.
United's not in the toughest division.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it changes every year. It's because everyone's still getting into MLS, and it's like they might get some kind of someone in their ownership is willing to spend a bunch of money on it. Like we popped up and we had Arthur Blank. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then Miami pops up and they go out and get Messi.
Yeah.
So, like that's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
These divisions have been around for the last, 25 years.
Right.
So there's a lot of legacy built in, mm-hmm. and there's a lot of, a lot of groundwork in there, a lot of bricks in these things.
Right.
But
if we're sticking on the Braves,
NL East is the hardest.
Absolutely. If we're sticking on the Braves, I do want to say there is a silver lining coming from the West Coast trip so far. Drake Baldwin, man, this kid is phenomenal. He's playing out of his mind. He hit another solo shot last night. That's his 5th home run in 11 games. He's currently leading the team with 13 RBIs. I didn't have Drake Baldwin on my bingo card for 2026 Braves, but you know what? He's there now. And we can also...
I did. He won Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I wasn't expecting him to be like this so far is what I'm saying. I didn't expect.
Oh yeah, no, he has been the most consistent hitter.
Yes.
How about this?
Absolutely.
On Sunday, Walt Weiss and got to give it to Walt Weiss. And I'm still trying to figure out like what his managerial style is, like which we also talked about last week. Mm-hmm. He benched Riley on Sunday.
Yeah,
because Riley's got a slow start, and I don't know if it's just like, hey kid, you need some rest, or he's just like, hey kid, you need to watch the game and get back to.
I think the easiest way to answer that is you and I have been lifelong baseball fans. We've played baseball. Yeah. The way I'm looking at it, if I was to put myself in those shoes, I think it is what you hit the nail on the head. Like, you're Austin Riley, dude. I know you're better than this. You're off to a slow start. Maybe you got something between the ears. Maybe you should sit here and watch this and figure it out. Maybe you need to rest, but whatever you need to do, figure it out. You're Austin fucking Riley. Like, I mean, is not the thought you have thinking that Walt Weiss did that?
No, yeah, that's what I completely agree with you. It's like, yeah, we know what you can do.
Exactly.
But step back,
mm-hmm.
and sit next to the coach and watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be time for Acuna to do that too.
Yeah. Acuna's off to. I don't have much to say about
slow
Acuna
start
right now, because the thing is, historically, ever since we've got Acuna, he's always been one thing or the other. Either his bat is on fire, but he's not doing great in the defense, or he's playing lights out defense and his bat is just kind of there when it's there. Right now, his defense is speaking louder than his bat is. But when I have
that's a good sign, man. That's part of the game of baseball.
When I have a position outfielder, as long as they're just doing their job and stopping balls from bouncing and earning, double hits, earning runs in, like, as long as you can stop the ball, as long as you can keep them from getting more points, okay, your bat can be a little cold, but I know that when we need him, he'll come to life. But, like, in all honesty, when you think about position players, like, would you rather have every position player have a hot bat, or every position player know how to play their position and be a base? I would rather have a team full of.
You got to have both.
I would rather have a team full of base hit players who can play their position and guarantee me a hit at almost every at bat than somebody who's just a home run hitter when he feels like it and a subpar, fielder.
Yeah, totally. Well, you just explained or you just described Marcell Ozuna. That was his thing. It's like, dude could bop, but when he was in left field, it's like he didn't have the arm to get the ball back into the infield.
And dude, have you seen how bad he's been doing in Pittsburgh?
He's been terrible.
He got booed in his own stadium.
Right. And I you got to look at Alex Anthopoulos and be like, okay, this guy's a genius again. He's showing us why you don't sign those guys. And dude, shout out to Alex Anthopoulos. Like, he's done it time and time again. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a lot of guys like get away from him and 2 years later me go like, oh, that was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
oh, we shouldn't have gotten rid of Josh Donaldson or something. It's like, I wanted to keep Josh Donaldson.
See,
AA
I did
thought
too, but
that you
here's the
didn't have
thing
to.
is, man, I'm going to say there's something
and he
about
retired like 2 years later.
There's something about baseball, and I think it's because it's got such grassroots and because the season's so long and because you go to the game and there's so many interviews and you feel connected with the players that like you do build a personal attachment with baseball players more than you do with any other sport. So like when we lost Josh Donaldson, I was like, man, I feel like I'm losing my boy. And I'm like, wait, I don't even know this guy. It was the same with Dansby.
Yeah.
When we lost Dansby, I'm like, oh man, Dansby's my boy. But like, I don't know Dansby. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think like baseball has always been one of those sports, like you grow more attached to the players out there than you do in any other sport. I feel like there's such a like, there's
probably so because you see
know?
them like singled out in so many situations. Like when they're at the plate, it's like, oh, I know this guy. He's at the plate like this. And then when you see him on defense, you're like, that's my guy.
Exactly.
You know, whereas like football, like so many other players on the field, so many other players like affecting the game. And then basketball, I would say a little closer to baseball, where it's like, okay, no, I trust CJ McCollum. I trust Trae Young, or I know what they say about Trae Young, but like, yo, he's my guy. I've been riding with him for the last 5 years or whatever. You know, like in baseball though, it's like you get that like that one-on-one FaceTime with these guys.
Right. Yeah.
And you do get attached to them.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman, dude.
Heartbreak.
I miss Freddie.
Heartbreak City.
I'm not sure he misses us that much.
No, but I'll tell you,
he's still getting rings.
I still clap. every time he comes.
Of course. Yeah,
I still love you, Freddie.
I would too.
I'd love you a lot better if you'd come back home.
He's my dog.
You know. But moving on, I also do want to shout out two more players. Matt Olson has been steady as a rock, and Dominic Smith, our designated hitter, he's been making his mark at the plate. He's been providing much needed help with guys like Austin Riley, who are still trying to find their rhythm in the early season chill, like you pointed out earlier. So hopefully, but I also feel like baseball is one of those things that like you play off of your other players. Like you don't want to be benched. You don't want to sit in the dugout. You want to be out there and play. And if you're just like, all right, I got to fix this. Oh man, Dominic's out there.
You got to reset.
So well. Oh, he's doing this. Like I can do that. Just reset, dude. Just reset. And also at the same time, you got to remember they've already played 11 straight games. So yeah, dude, like you're going to get a little.
And I want to say we're the only team in the MLB that's had to do that.
I mean, when you think about it, like this day off isn't really a day off. It's a travel day, you know? So,
right. Yeah. They're coming back home. But it's like they don't get to go home and like have dinner with their family and everything.
You're going home.
All right, Joey. Yeah. You're a family man. Like say you've been gone for 13 days and you come home and it's like you have one day off, but like you also flew in that day. What's that day like? Like, do you get to actually like relax or do anything?
No, I'm sleeping.
No, you're not sleeping, bro. Like you're having dinner with the family and the kids want to see you and you're hanging with them. And it's like, not that you don't want that, but like that's
but I'm saying like
that's not a relaxing day off.
At a professional athlete though, you're not doing that. You're at the house, you're on the couch, you're chilling, or you're at practice. Like this isn't a go out and thing. It's not like you're incapable of doing that, or it's just like, okay, so I mean, I guess the bench player's playing tomorrow because like I haven't been home in 15 days. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Which is insane.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a family man, which all these guys, they are.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like baseball really is the most grueling, especially like when you think about that, like ideally, okay. So like you asked me that question and ideally like, yeah, you do come home, you do try to make up for lost time. You have dinner with the family and everything, but also like, you're going to be jet lagged. There's a big old time difference. Once you get here from the West Coast, it's 3 hours later.
Oh my God.
You know? So like, and then you have, not only do you have a game the next day, you have a series that you're starting the next day. So you got to get rest. You got to, you're seriously going to lounge on the couch.
All you're thinking about is work.
You're going to talk to your family, but you're not doing anything active because when you wake up, you got to go to practice.
You're not mentally there. You're physically there. You're not mentally there.
You're not there at all. And then the problem is your kids want you to be there. They want you to be present. They want to wrestle. They want to have fun, but like
they don't know anything about the job. Yeah.
Like you just can't. You're jello at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Speaking of moving on, let's talk about Spencer Strider, man. So
yes,
Spencer Strider has taken a massive step forward this past Friday on April 3rd when he threw a successful bullpen session in Phoenix. The team reported that he felt encouraged and didn't have any setbacks on his side. So he has a rehab assessment. Walt Weiss made it clear that Strider won't jump back into the rotation. He's going to need at least one rehab start in the minors, likely with AAA Gwinnett, to get his pitch count up and ensure that he's got to ensure that his oblique can handle the torque of his 99-mile-an-hour heater. His target date is this. So this is the current projected target date. If the rehab start goes well later this week, which I want to find out if he's going to play in Gwinnett this week, because that'd be fun as hell to go to.
I'll meet you there, man.
But they're looking at a potential season debut at the homestand on April 10th, which would be this Friday.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. So another thing on the radar, let's talk about when is Sean Murphy coming back. So the latest word is that
he had like a hip injury or something?
I believe it was a hip injury. I don't have the injury pulled up. I only have the recovery pulled up. But it says that he's on the home stretch with his recovery. He participated in his second simulated game in 3 days on April 4th, which a lot of people don't understand that with catching, it's just as grueling as pitching because you are on your knees for 9 straight innings. You don't get subbed out like the pitchers do unless there's injury or something. And then not only that, you're catching balls thrown directly at your face for 5 hours in a row. Some of them are 70 miles an hour. Some of them are 103 miles an hour. And you're just taking them to the hand on your knees for that length of time. So you need to rest. The official plan.
Not to mention the middle part of the game. Like, I feel like being a catcher is more mentally exhausting than it is being a pitcher because the pitcher's asking the catcher, what am I throwing?
Right. And I'm going to get into
the catcher has to know every batter.
I'm going to get into that because there is kind of a log jam going on with catching that I'm going to get into in a second.
Right. Yeah.
But the official plan is Murphy is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment with AAA Gwinnett on Friday. So Strider is expected to start in Atlanta on Friday if his rehab goes well in Gwinnett, and Murphy is expected to start in Gwinnett on Friday. If he doesn't have any setbacks, though, and you're right, it is a hip labrum. I did have it pulled up right here. The Braves are eyeing the return to the Major League roster by late April, so roughly April 20th, 25th. Hey.
All right, there we go.
But so here's the thing. Jonah Heim has been playing amazing, and you also have the Drake Baldwin factor. Now, people are like, Jonah Heim's playing amazing. Oh, his bats haven't had. What did I say earlier about bats and playing your position? Jonah Heim is playing his position perfectly. Jonah Heim has actually caught the shutouts that we've had this season. And what you were just saying, catching is just as important as pitching because the pitcher is counting on you.
Yes.
Mentally counting on you. What should I throw? What do you know about this guy? How's this guy standing? How does he like it? What has he been going for?
He likes it over here. We're going to sell him over here.
What's the ump seeing back there? Like, you have more mental stress. And not only that, halfway through the game, you got to start over with a new guy. And then in the last inning of the game, you got to start over with a new guy. So for you to be mentally capable of doing that and have a shutout thrown to you, you're top tier. So you got him. You got Baldwin, who's playing amazing as catcher and as hitting.
He's your catcher one, period.
But who, Heim or Baldwin?
Baldwin. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm just saying because now you got to think about what happens when Murphy comes back. Because now you're in a three-way logjam. Because Sean,
I think it's a who do you have, Heim or Murphy?
Well, so here's the thing.
And then I think that comes down to who's got the bigger bat.
Okay. But then if it comes to the bigger bat, if Heim is...
It's Murphy.
What I'm saying, if Heim is catching as well as he is, but Murphy has the bigger bat, you obviously can't do anything with... Or you're not going to do anything. It's not that you can't do anything. You're not going to do anything with Baldwin because of how high he's catching. So what I'm saying... This doesn't necessarily create competition as much as it creates leverage because now it kind of opens the door for trade talks for Jonah Heim with how well he's doing at catching, especially when you know Murphy's going to come back and his bat's going to be on fire because that's Sean Murphy we know. All things considering, hopefully he can come back to the Murphy we know. But this does create kind of competitive juices between them, kind of like, I know that you've been doing well at my position, but I want my position back. But hey, Jonah, like if your bat gets a little hot and you keep catching these shutouts and communicating with the pitchers the way you are, like, what do we do here? This is a what do we do here scenario. But the thing is with Jonah Heim, with the way he's played right now, his value is sky high right now. And he's proven he can handle a new pitching staff. That's how important you got to understand this too. Jonah Heim didn't play here last season. This pitching staff, this coaching staff, everything, this is brand new to him, and he's playing at the level he is. That's incredible. So he's delivering clutch games, and if a team like the Rangers or Mariners loses catcher to an injury in May, the Braves could potentially flip Heim for a high-end relief pitcher or outfield depth. And considering how banged up the bullpen is, what do you think we would do in that situation? So all we've done right now is create a very high ceiling for Jonah Heim when it comes to trades. But also, what if Murphy's bat doesn't get hot? What if he's good at catching, but his bat doesn't get hot?
Then that answers your question.
So then what do we do with Murphy? Do we create a trade for Murphy?
You could. I mean, less value if he's not playing well. But what you're describing to me is what I would call a good problem to have.
No. That was the exact point I was making. It's just like I said, when it creates a logjam, it's not a bad one to have, because literally you have potentially 3 catchers that are going to fire.
But here's the problem with like the Braves. It's like, oh wow, you've got 3 good catchers coming in.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, well, we're looking at our pitching. Like, I wish we had too many good pitchers.
This is the point I was making.
But but you had the right point though. It's just like, if Jonah Heim is playing great and you can flip him for just a middle of the road relief pitcher, that sounds good. And it's starting to feel like the starter thing isn't going to be that bad as what we were talking about like before the season.
Yeah,
because Bryce Elder's been good.
Which
we didn't expect. Reynaldo Lopez has been good. Grant Holmes, I feel like, has been good.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a little bit of farm help that you can bring back up. I talked about DA Fuentes last week.
Yep.
Chris Sale's going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'm going to talk about
Strider's going to come back.
I'm going to talk about pitchers in just a second, but when we're
Schwellenbach's going to come back.
While we're still talking about Heim, it begs the question, like, are we looking at the best catching depth in the history of the franchise with what we've got going on? Because listen, you've got an all-star.
Three badass catchers.
You've got an all-star in Murphy. You've got a Gold Glover in Heim, and you've got a future superstar in Baldwin. So, like, how does Walt Weiss keep everybody happy? You know what I'm saying?
Won't be able to keep everybody happy, and having 3 catchers like that, like on the rosters, probably not going to happen throughout the whole season. Mm-hmm. But again, good problem to have.
Yeah, I think we both made the exact same point. This creates very good market for Heim. I'm going to appreciate him while he's here, but personally, I do see him being the scapegoat for a really good trade down the line. I truly do.
Yeah, for sure. And even if, like what you were saying, like the scenario you brought up with Murphy, like if Murphy's bat's cold, like how do we get rid of him? It's like, well, he'd be harder to get rid of because we have him on a bigger contract. Jonah Heim, I think, is like a 1 year. Like we picked him up because everyone else is like, we don't really need him, and he's a little bit older now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Murphy is, a couple years ago, 3 years ago, he's like a franchise catcher.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I don't know. I feel like Heim doing well can create like unexpected trade value. Sean Murphy, you hope to keep him because you signed him. Yeah. You signed him to a good chunk of money, man.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely, it is.
And if the pitching can continue to hold up,
and that offense just keep fucking going,
Yeah, absolutely.
But with the pitching, the only things I was going to say is like, just stop with the free passes. You got to build a bridge to the 7th inning. And then, I believe you say his name, Karinchak. There's that kid down there in Gwinnett, James Karinchak. He's been lights out in AAA. So if we can find a way to get him, if we can keep an eye on him and find a way to get him up here, because I'll tell you, like, I know that
he's got to see his first major league start,
exactly,
like before we know what we have.
Sound like
it's different than AAA.
Is completely just bleeding out and blah blah. I think the bullpen is good enough, and I think the offense is even better to where we can stay a competitive team. And if we do things like bring this kid up from AAA, make a blockbuster deal with Jonah Heim, barring that Sean Murphy is back to normal, like if Sean Murphy comes back and he's back to being Sean Murphy,
but let's say that Sean Murphy comes back and like you dangle Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
And you say Jonah Heim would be our backup
guy. So that was the point. That's what I was trying to ask you earlier. Like, if Jonah Heim is really just playing, as good as if he keeps playing as good as he is, like,
and Baldwin's going to be your main guy. I know that.
Baldwin's not going nowhere. Baldwin's
absolutely,
not going nowhere.
No, he's your main guy.
But does that make you flirt with the idea of trading Sean Murphy? Because once again, it's one of those things that as a baseball fan, I've grown attached.
You got 3 guys playing well.
I've grown attached to him. I have.
I agree.
So that's where I got to put that emotion down and be like, hey, if this betters our team, if we can just get one solid bullpen guy out of him, I mean, because
sure, yeah, you get really you a 7th inning guy.
I feel like we need a relief guy. Holmes actually has been doing surprisingly better than I thought he would. I really like that guy.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah, you saw that one ball he caught. Yeah, it was like 150 miles an hour. And he's like, and the quote they got from him is like, "What did he say to you when you guys were walking in the dugout?" And he's like, "I think I crapped myself." I'm like, I bet that's not what he said.
Yeah. No, but like I'm saying, between Sale and Elder, I feel like he's really starting to prove himself. But we've been on the Bryce Elder train before. We know it can
it's
get
more like a roller coaster. Yeah.
So my thing is like with Heim or Murphy, I personally feel like you should target a solid starting pitcher. Like I don't know.
It depends. Like if Elder's going to stay the way that he is, Schwellenbach comes back, Strider comes back.
Trust Elder. Well, okay.
I don't either. But if he's your 5th starter and he plays better than last year and more like what we've seen so far, I don't think you really need another starter. And if you do, you call up DDA Fuentes.
And or
you call up this kid that you just brought up.
When it's starting to become the way it is right now, when you talk about Schwellenbach and Strider, like I don't think the bullpen is as bad as we thought it was going to be in spring training.
No, because I don't think we've lost games because of the bullpen.
We haven't. It has. Well,
it's either been starting pitching or okay, but that's 1 out of 12. Starting pitching, yeah, exactly. Starting pitching, yes. But again, there's a solution to the starting pitching. Mm-hmm. We got injured starters that could be front of the line starters on any other team.
Yeah. No, back. You're right. I'm agreeing with you.
So like the bullpen haven't lost games for us.
Yeah,
not yet, and they will down the stretch. Like they just will. There's 162 games. Like that's going to happen.
162 games. How many days off are the Braves going to have? 3.
That's what it feels like right now. Yeah. No, I think that this is going to come back and be our advantage like later on because they had this long stretch at the beginning. I think there's going to be teams that see like 15-day stretches or also like 13-day stretches where we've got days off in between series. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that's going to come back and help us later. It feels like it hurts right now and it's very tough right now. And I feel for the players. But so far, dude, like if you're 6-5 or you end up going, 7-5 out of this whole stretch with one more game to go, which tonight they're winning right now, then you did good.
Yeah.
You got through probably the hardest stretch of the season, especially like considering all the starting pitching injuries that we had during spring training.
Yeah, man.
Like you can make it through that. Like you have all the confidence to go out and kill it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's all I got for Braves talk. I'm pretty confident. There was one thing I wanted to touch on. Did you see that James Pierce declined to go to Falcons practice or the optional practice?
No. He's unofficially uninvited.
Unofficially uninvited. Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw reports
until his court stuff is done.
But my thing, what that shed light on is he's still an active Falcon until everything comes to light with what's going on.
Yes. So the Falcons are not going to officially do anything until they know what's happening in this court case.
Okay.
And like we talked before, they dropped 2 of his felony charges. And he's down to only 3.
And I want to say this. I will say, I do see if these don't stick, if he finds a way to beat this case, or even if he gets probation or something, I do see a way of him still being a Falcon next season if things go in his favor. Too. And now I want to say this.
Friend of the show, D. Orlando Ledbetter, said that. Friend of the show.
I want to say this, and I want to be very crystal fucking clear when I make this point. I do not condone any of the actions that he allegedly did.
No.
But I do want to say I fully and wholeheartedly do believe in rehabilitation. I do believe in redemption. I do believe that you can turn your life around. I do believe that this is a misguided young kid who makes young kid mistakes and who needs help, who needs therapy.
22.
Yeah, who needs people to listen to him and needs people to care for him in his corner. And I do believe by all means he can turn his life around if he puts forth the effort. And this is something that is necessary, whether he does it on the football field, whether he ever plays it down on the football field again. He obviously needs help. He obviously needs to address the problems he has. But I fully, wholeheartedly believe in rehabilitation. And I believe that you should give a young man, especially this young, who made whether it's a small mistake or a major mistake, a mistake's a mistake, and he made one. And if he can own up to it, if he can rehabilitate himself and, go out there and become a new person, I fully, wholeheartedly believe in that and support that. Now, that doesn't mean I condone the things that he's being accused of. That doesn't mean I think it's okay, but I fully believe in second chances. And if he can earn a second chance and go out and prove that it's not for nothing, I fully support that. So if he is able to beat this case and he can be an Atlanta Falcon again and he can rehabilitate himself and be a changed person, I fully support that. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, dude, and I 100,000% back you up on everything you just said. All of that, and also considering like as long as Rickea Jackson like feels safe after this, whatever happens, and as long as nothing ever happens with her again,
and
if something happens with her and James Pierce again, it's like then it's like, man, you totally messed this up.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so we have to defend her at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
And hopefully this court case does defend her. Like, I'm not just going to be here and sit here and say like, oh, because he's a Falcon that I like, I hope he just like beats the charges.
If he's found
I hope that all parties involved like move on and grow from this.
Yeah.
And everybody is safe and nothing bad like this ever happens again.
And
but he is a young man and we don't know the full story. So, like, I do want to see it play out, and whatever the Falcons decide, the Falcons decide.
Yes.
What I think is going to happen is he's going to get a punishment from this. He certainly is, and I think the NFL is going to punish him as well, whether that's a half season suspension, a year suspension, or whatever it is. But the main thing is that he gets the help that he needs.
Yes.
He gets rehabilitation. And that Rickea Jackson also is safe from from any of this stuff that she felt like her life was in danger about, because she made it very clear that she felt like her life was in danger.
Yes.
So,
and that is something I do want to touch on too. Like, I can't discredit what she said. If she felt that way, she felt that way for a reason. And that's why I say what I said, whether he ever plays football again or not, he obviously needs help so that he never puts somebody in this situation again, so that he's never in a situation where somebody feels afraid for their life ever again. And Rickea, my heart goes out to you. I hope you never feel that way again. I hope this man never makes you feel that way again. But I think ultimately, somebody this young, somebody this impressionable, somebody who has so much life ahead of them right now, there's a problem that needs to be addressed. This man needs help. And if you address it soon enough, he can reform. He can change. He can, if he wants it, if he wants to.
He deserves a chance.
I fully believe in second chance. Now, let me tell you, if he's found guilty and the NFL says, oh, you'll never play again, good. I don't want him to play again if the NFL doesn't want him to play again. Cool. But I still want him to get help. I still want him to be a better man. Absolutely.
I agree.
So that's where I stand on that.
Yep.
Other than that, everybody take care of yourselves. Reach out to your friends. Tell them you love them. It's been a weird week, man. Jeremy and I saw some losses in the metal hardcore community. Bo from the band Harm's Way is no longer with us. That was a jarring loss.
Rest in peace.
I've been a Harm's Way fan for a very long time. Just let your homies know you love them. And also, there was a huge tragedy at the 404 parade that should have been.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Yeah,
super unavoidable. It's complete bullshit that like the city was brought together to celebrate Atlanta, to have a time of celebration and enjoyment, and people are out there with their families. People are just trying to have a good time
and bringing our community together and all
brings
that.
our community together. Like, this is something that encapsulates the spirit of Atlanta. Like, at the first half of the day, I saw nothing but smiles, people riding through the parade. Saw Pastor Troy out there with his WCW belt on, flexing in a convertible and stuff. And then you hear that a senseless act happens. You know, all these fights start breaking out. DJ sets getting cut short because people can't control themselves, can't control their emotions. Then guns ring out, and a 15-year-old gets injured, and a 16-year-old girl is no longer with us because of this. This is fucking ridiculous. This shit has got to stop.
Yeah.
There is no need for this shit. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know where all these teenagers are, you know, planning these. I don't know if it's on Reddit. I don't know if it's in a feed that you can find, but it keeps happening everywhere. You see it happen in Atlantic Station.
Yeah, the teen takeovers and stuff.
These teen takeovers. It just happened in Tybee Island, like literally yesterday, where shots were firing out. What the fuck are y'all doing? Why? Why can't we just go out and have a good time? It's getting to the point where I don't want to go out. Like when Music Midtown or Shaky Knees and all this shit goes out, like you're making me scared of big crowds, because what's going to happen? All these fucking kids are going to come take over and start firing guns off and shit. What the fuck is the point of this? What are you trying to prove? Ain't shit cool. There's a 16-year-old girl who's dead now because of your bullshit. Like, what is cool about this shit?
That's right. Yeah. Nah, none of it's cool. None of it's acceptable. And it's like, you know, and just being someone who grew up in Atlanta, it's like, can't we have nice things? We go out and have this big celebration. It's planned by the city. It's planned by, you know, the Falcons and the Hawks and all these big organizations that put a lot of money back into our community. And then we go out and act like that.
Yeah.
You know, it only takes a couple of people to ruin it for everybody.
I know.
So out of the thousands of people that show up and have fun, you got 5 people who just ruin it for everyone. And you know, a young girl's dead.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I want to be able to, I have a wife and 3 children. I want to be able to go out to Atlanta and have a good time. The city I've lived in for 36 years, that's been the biggest part of my life. More than anything, Atlanta's been a constant for me in my entire life. And now it's to the point where, like, well, I can't show my kids that. I can't go here. I don't want to go to this big crowd because I have to worry about, like, am I going to have to round them up and just go running for our lives and hide in a porta potty or some shit because people don't know how to
shot yourself.
It's like, I'll tell you this, like, Atlanta's never been a safe place or the safest place our entire lives. But
no major city in the United States is a 100% safe place.
There used to be an unwritten law. There used to be an unwritten law when a community gathering has happened, whether it's a family picnic, a birthday party, a little barbecue, or a big get together. The Atlanta, you acted right. You know, you fucking
exactly.
Acted right.
You put all the bullshit aside for that moment.
And I don't get what it is. And it used to be like, okay, it can happen the day after. But like right now, when the community is having a big get together and people are there with their families, and all you want to do is be like, hey, you like Atlanta? Man, I like Atlanta too. That was the whole
biggest gangsters walk by and they see mom and grandma and the kids there and they say, hey, how you guys doing? And they keep it moving.
Yeah.
They say the gangster shit for another time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Those are the days you squash the beef. You know, that's it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, and the old head of me wants to be like, what happened to the days where you guys would just fucking meet up and run 30 and fucking beat the shit out of each other and then grab
drop the guns and you just go fight and you all right, yeah, now everything's settled, we're good. Like now I'm friends with these people.
You don't have it no more. And the thing is, it's not like
they don't make them like us anymore.
It's not like they're shooting at people they have beef with either. They're just shooting. They're just shooting to shoot.
Right.
You know, like those two girls weren't there causing problems. They were just there. You know, they were just there.
Exactly. Yeah. Innocent bystanders.
So it's bullshit. But all I got to say, Atlanta, please act better. Please just get your shit together.
We're better than this.
Like, guys. You truly are better than this. Like, you have a team that could bring us home a championship this year. You know, you have 2 teams, because look at the dream now. And like, I swear to God, if you motherfuckers, if we finally have a championship parade and you motherfuckers are out there shooting, I'm going to come find you my motherfucking self. I swear to God.
Hey, and you don't want Joey to get a hold of you.
I don't
let go. Trouble.
I don't let go.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
But other than that, you guys have a good night. This is going to come out on Thursday on YouTube. We're going to try to get it on streaming beforehand because, hey, you can look us up on Spotify, on Apple Music, on iHeartRadio.
You can just say A-Town Rundown. You're going to find us,
A-Town Rundown. It is not that we have any bad blood or any beef with this, that, and the other. It was just time to create our own thing and make it easier for you guys.
We're outgrowing, We're outgrowing.
All it was. We just wanted
to. Hey, and shout out to everybody who's interacted with us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Reddit. I love the Reddit conversation that I brought up the other day. Very impressed with all the ball knowledge that came up. Nobody brought up any personal bullshit or anything like that.
Yeah, so we need a point guard.
No, that's not what they were saying. So, but hey, get in on the conversation with us. Love talking to you guys, and I really appreciate just, the interaction. And
matter of fact, I want to
get to know you guys as you get to know us.
If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify or any of your podcasts, leave a comment. First of all, please leave us a nice rating or leave us an honest rating. It's fine. I can.
Yeah, sure.
But leave a comment because I want to know where you found out about us from. That way we can track it, and you can shout it out. You can start talking shit to Jeremy on there. You can start talking shit to me. We are very in control of our socials, so we will talk back.
Yeah,
you will get a response from us. It's us.
You're talking to us.
We will respond. And right now we're primitive enough to where we're going to respond to every single one of them. So
absolutely.
But if you don't know where to find it,
if you're talking to me, I'm screenshotting it and I'm sending it to Joey, and then you're going to hear his opinion right after that too. So,
and I'll tell you guys,
you're interacting with us.
When we record, it's off the cuff. But when I have time to sit there and rehearse my response, it's not.
And I get to argue with you. Oh yeah. Looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, but if you want to find us, our social media is A-Town Rundown across all platforms, right? Instagram, Twitter, on YouTube, it's A-Town Rundown. On Spotify and all the podcasts, it's going to be A-Town Rundown.
Apple Podcasts, all that, yeah.
When you do the podcast, it's A-Town Rundown.
That's right.
I think even if you just do A-Town, it'll probably still pop up.
You'll find us. You'll find us.
I hope you do.
But you already found us.
But yeah,
if you're hearing this,
take care of yourself. Atlanta, do better. I know you can. I believe in you. And other than that, we'll see you next week. And also, guess what? Since you're listening or since you're watching, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, because we now have our own distribution, you're going to hear a lot more content out of us. A lot of things are going to come out that are just audio only. They're going to be called secret episodes. But
that's right.
You're going to get
bonus
content. You're going to get a lot more Instagram content from us. Things are picking up. We're getting a lot of fun. Shout out D. Orlando Ledbetter. Love you. Thank you for following us on Twitter.
D-Led.
We'll see you guys next week, baby.